approval of the minutes. We have January 22nd and January 31st. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Citizens communication. And who do we have signed up?
Yes. Does anybody sign up on the sheet?
So this is how government works. We gotta go back and check on the sheet to see if anybody signs
I
up.
got the sheet.
Yes. All right, so I want to recognize Troop 161, which is a troop that timeshares First United Methodist with Troop 100. So they meet on Sundays. They meet Troop 100 meets on Tuesdays. These boys are here to begin the arduous journey of a merit badge called citizenship in the community, where they're supposed to come to a meeting of a local government body, listen to the debates and everything, and then make a report back to their merit badge counselor about the pros and cons of the questions and the decisions that were made. And I'm sad to say that we're probably disappointed on this agenda.
Should we yell in front of them?
I told them Athena Healthcare was going to be. We tried to milk this for all we
They're a
could.
few months late, they're really.
Yeah, but they probably picked this one, so they're going to have to have their insurance enforced. So anyway, we'd like to welcome you guys to the meeting of the hospital board. Thank you for coming. We've probably not got the best meeting for you because there's not much on the agenda to give anything for your merit badge, but we'll try our best.
I'd like to add one thing. I expect to see these young men in about 2 or 3 years at the Eagle Board of Review. Take your name and hold you accountable. It's not really that bad.
They're not laughing as much as we are.
Thanks very much.
Okay, now we are going to do the wow moment of the month recognition. And the person that we are going to recognize will be recognized tomorrow. She's had a family issue and will not be able to be here tonight. So we don't want to give away who it is because surprise is the biggest thing. So it will be celebrated tomorrow instead of this evening at the board meeting. And we have a special staff recognition for a job well done, and I have turned that over to Farrah Bentley.
I know some of you dread me being here at the microphone, but you know there's someone in every organization that keeps you on target. And I've never seen this individual upset with any of us publicly. Never heard her say anything bad about us publicly. But we would never know when board meetings are going on. We would not know when we're supposed to be at a committee meeting. And she knows how to slap our fingers when they need slapping. And the lady that I'm looking at is a very, very special person. You can't really understand that until you have worked for her. So. And I just have a feeling you know that I know who runs the household. Ellen Nobles, in favor of a job well done, February 26, 2019. Please join me in.
Okay, next item on the agenda, medical staff reports.
I'm actually representing Dr. Smith, who is out of town. I think my job here is to let the board members know the conventional committee decision here. And everybody has the list of physicians and the providers who actually were reappointed. There were a few reappointments, 3 new reappointments, and then few physicians or practitioners have withdrawn their programs and changed their status also. I'm not going to go into the details of the name. Everybody has the names in their folder. This has been gone through credential committee and also gone through medics committee and it's been approved. I'm hereby bringing this to the board so that it can be approved.
results of operations.
Thank you. I'd like to go over the results of operations for the month of January. We had a good volume month. We had 316 admissions, resulting in 1,562 patient days. Our rehab admissions, we had some good volume for the month. 34 rehab admissions. Last month, we had 26. We had total surgeries for the month of 167 compared to 175 last month.
We
Is
have,
it different?
yeah, we have a different sheet on.
Let me see. Are you impressed? I can tell by the way you're looking, oh my gosh.
I only have 10 fingers like this.
Really? Okay, well, this is what we're gonna do today. We're gonna use this sheet, and we'll just go with this presentation up on the board. How about that? I mean, all eyes up here, guys, right here. I'll have to look to see what happened with that, I don't know. We had 74 GI procedures for the month. We had a really good volume for the month compared to 43 last month. Cath lab procedures were down. We had 96 compared to 102 last month. And our ER visits were 2,109 compared to 2,089 last month. When you look at our admissions by payer, you can see that the top line, the blue line is Medicare. We had 139 admissions. And so then something really interesting happened for the month of January, which is the very last data point on the graph. You can see that the green line, which is commercial insurance, crossed over and went above the Medicaid line, which is the red one. So that's a really, that's a great trend for us, and that's something that we're really pleased to see happen. And then the very bottom line, which is purple, is self-pay, and you can see it doesn't really look like it, but it is ticked downward for the last 3 or 4 data points. So this is a really good graph. We like to see the way that those admissions are trending. When you look at patient revenue volume for the month, we had 25 million in patient revenue, and the blue line on the bottom is net revenue, and so we were at about 6,374,000 for net revenue. When you look at the current month compared to where we are actual and prior year, you can see for net patient revenue, again, we'll just look at the very bottom, net operating revenue, we're at 6.3 million. On a year to date, we're at 45 compared to a budget of 44 and 44 million last year. There are a couple of things that I want to point out, and there are the items that are highlighted in yellow. And this gets really confusing. When you look at a year to date, last year, the other discounts for actual and prior, and the bad debts for actual and prior. You almost have to combine those together. And this is how it would look. If you combine the actual other discounts and bad debts, the total for where we were this year, we're at 22 million, and we were last year was at 22 million. So what happened is January of last year, we changed our methodology for self-pay patients. So when they come in the door, we give them the discount immediately as letting that right on our books and taking it as a bad debt. So it's not that our bad debt has gone down, it's just the way that we're classifying it on our income statement as a discount as opposed to a bad debt. So if I go back and look, you can see that change occurred in January. So on a current month basis, our other discounts is it'll start to get a little bit cleaner when you start looking at a current basis. Does that make sense? Does that help clarify that? That's kind of been confusing all year long, so I wanted to point that out specifically, look at our change in methodology. So what that does for the bottom line, we had a net margin loss for the month of 18,000 and a positive EBITDA of 580,000. Year to date, we're at a net margin of up 181, so we're slightly above break even. And again, we've had good IGT payments every month. Starting December was a good one. January, we had a good IGT payment. We're going to have a decent IGT payment in February, but March, April, May, we're not going to have one. So I do not anticipate, I'm just kind of prepping the room, do not anticipate that this margin will hold without those IGT payments for the next couple months. When you look at our days unbilled, we dropped to 7 for the month, and we're down to a little over 5 for today. So when we talked about what happened during the holidays is the doctors had a lot of charts that needed to be discharged or needed to be written. So our days have dropped, and what that has done to our cash is we popped up to about 4.9 million in cash collections for the month of January, and we're having an incredible cash collection month for the month of February. So you can really see the correlation between our days unbilled and when they've really dropped, how that affects our cash collections. The only other thing I want to point out is, Dr. Head, you mentioned it, and when we reviewed the financials at the Finance Committee, there was a question about the increase in current portion of long-term debt, January over December, and that was the Allianz loan that we had taken for the IGT, and that wasn't paid yet. We pay that every 30 days, but depending on the timing of the month end, we may have a loan outstanding when we close our books. So, would y'all have any other questions about current month operations?
Okay,
Thank you.
we need a motion to approve that report. James seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same. Motion carries. Okay, compliance report, Noella.
So we're going to talk a little bit this evening about our year 3 under our CIA. As you're aware, we're under a 5-year corporate integrity agreement with the federal government. And February 10th, we closed year 3. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the reports that will be going into this report, and then where we are and where we have to go to get this report out on time. So year 3 began February 11th. Last year it ended on the 10th. And our final report is due to the federal government within 60 days of that close date, so April 12th. One of the things we have to report on is compliance training, and that's training for all employees, employee positions, contractors that we have for the hospital, and then the board does health.edu training for compliance. Compared last year to this year, we have a requirement to be at least 95% compliant with the number of employees who completed the training annually. Last year, we were at 96.56%. This year, we're at 99.67%, almost 100%. One of the other areas is not necessarily delineated in our CIA. However, it was brought up when the OIG came in for a visit in 2017, was exit interviews. From a compliance standpoint, an exit interview is an opportunity to determine with an employee who's leaving if there's anything they perceive as an issue the hospital may want to look into, particularly related to compliance-related matters, anything that has to do with the federal government or federal payers. We had no exit interviews this year that had to do with anything related to a federal payer. We only had 7 employees who exited that participated. Our requirement is to give an opportunity for every employee who resigns the opportunity to participate, but it's up to them if they want to. The reasons for them leaving, we had 1 left for financial status of the hospital, 2 left for other employment, which may have also been tied to financial status of the hospital. 1 left to return to school, 2 retired, and 1 of those retirees had a spouse who worked here, so they retired, they left together. So that was the 7 exit interviews that were completed for the year reporting 3. We have to turn in our yearly report, and part of that is our auditing of the compliance program, and we have a process in place for auditing processes in departments that have something to do with CMS, whether it's payments, medical records management, conditions for participation. So we have admitting data, HIM data, finance, and revenue cycle department data, HIPAA and privacy data, information security data, and then monitoring of the Medicare, where we have to check monthly to determine who's been listed on the Medicare list for participants who's been excluded from participating in the CMS program. And so all of those departments monitor monthly, but then they bring that data quarterly to our hospital leadership compliance committee and to the audit and compliance committee. And so we had our last committee meetings, HLCC last month, and then audit and compliance earlier this month. You have in your binder those reports. We, for the most part, met the goals in every area that we were monitoring. And it's actually backed up a little. We also had, but two areas that we want to look at in your binder in those reports. The pharmacy 340B, we were supposed to get started in this program last July. We had some hiccups with the application process. The update is that we have now been accepted, and we will, as of April 1st, be participating in the 340B program, which will give us roughly $90,000 monetary savings in the Medicaid pharmacy program. And the other is the cath lab, and of course, we have to monitor implantable devices in the cath lab for their compliance for medical necessity. I think something really important to show where this program has advanced to from the start of the CIA in 2016 came out in the risk assessment we had completed by an external vendor back in December. And I brought those results to the board last month. But it kind of goes hand in hand with our auditing that we've done on our own for the entire year. Because the findings in that report suggested that we had strong policies and procedures by the departments. We had evidence of strong controls due to the probability of risk. And then overall, it reflects a substantial improvement in the 2016 over the 2016 risk assessment. So what it was saying is, you all have come a long way from the time that the OIG put you on this corrective action plan. And so I think that the actions that the staff and mainly in the department level have been taken to ensure that we remain compliant has been very successful. Finally, I want to talk about our IRO. Under our CIA, the whole purpose primarily of the CIA was to monitor the implantable devices in our cath lab. And the primary requirement in the CIA is that we have an independent review organization look at our implantable devices annually and determine if those cases were medically necessary. In essence, that we deserve the reimbursement that we bill for. So this year, our IRO is in Cura. They received our data as of yesterday. Last year, they got our report out to us about 1 week before the due date, on April 11th, I think, last year. So we have fewer cases this year to review. There were only 13 implantable devices by a federal payer. So I anticipate that we'll get their final report sooner than right up at the last minute. And in that case, that will enable me to be able to get their year 3 report out to the OIG very timely. It did go out timely last year, but it was right on the cusp. So what do we have next steps going forward? We have a few documents still outstanding, the IRO report, the information security annual audits, a few other reports, and then the completion of the summary once I get all the data. And that report will go out timely.
Okay, any questions?
That's quite an improvement.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent.
I think Noella ought to be recognized.
Do we need to approve this? It's just a report. You do. You still have to do it?
It has to be.
Okay. And has your folders in? Do I have a motion to? Okay.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries, and the report is approved. Thank you very much. Okay, capital purchase and expenditure
thing first, our email server, which is, it's old, which is kind of a common with all of our IT systems here. And if you can look at the cost of this, most of this is for licensing, I think 56,000, over 75,000 of this is licensing alone. This server went down, a couple weeks ago, James, a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we were nervous to reboot it, because we're afraid if it goes down, we may not be able to get it back up. It'll take, about 3 days for them to come in and migrate off, maybe more than that. It'll take a while to migrate off of our old system. So this is, we don't really have a lot of choices. In today's world, I'm not sure how we can function without email and getting things back and forth. So,
The motherboard on the current server, what the memory sits has an issue.
so, we were hoping that we didn't have to call a special meeting, that this lasted until this board meeting, so we were all kept our fingers and toes crossed, so, I don't know, and, so I am requesting that the board approve this purchase.
One of the questions that we had in the finance meeting was that if we have a lease option to pursue that, were you able to do that?
I have not got confirmation on that yet, but I still will pursue that when we meet, with this company, but we have not got them to confirm a lease with us yet. So this would be a cash purchase, 30-day terms.
So how do we want to go about this, or do we need to, can't really put it off, but by the same token, it would be much better for us financially, cash flow wise, if we can get it on a monthly thing with a lease.
Ron, would you think if you let them know the board approved it, that would hasten their,
In mind.
so I would offer a motion to approve it with the cash option right now and continue to pursue a lease possibility, but we've got to expedite this. We can't allow it to be down.
That's exactly what we needed to do, Lisa, thank you very much. So we have a motion on the table, and a second, to approve this for the cash option, but with the caveat that Rhonda will continue to pursue the lease option if at all possible.
What we do if we do have a lease option, but the terms of the lease, are over the price of the cost. In other words, a 10% markup, 5% markup, at the end of the year. I don't mind, it does sort of spread out the hurt, if you will, for 2 years, or whatever, but maybe we want to give it the flexibility of accepting the lease term if it's within a certain parameter.
Thanks for opening Pandora's box.
I mean, I like lease workshop and just as much as anybody, because like I said, it spreads the hurt over a longer period of time, but if it's twice the cost, then thanks, no thanks.
Gary, what's your experience?
Can you amend the motion to basically say whichever is cheaper?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. How about I offer an amendment to this? It basically stipulates we take the cheaper option.
To approve it and
To
then
approve
see
it,
what.
to approve it, but to pursue a lease and take the cheaper option.
My guess is that the
Always
cheaper
be
option
cash
would be the
Cash
cash
is
for
better
the
than
Always
lease.
be cash.
If we do a lease option, does that include maintenance? 'Cause normally if you have a lease, they'll make the product to the purchase that we buy.
It certainly does. Let me,
We just don't know, right? We don't.
Well, let me ask you this, what is it, what do they need? I know we said approving it, we move it along, but what kind of timeline do they need to get back with us and get this? It sounds like it needs to be a little more concrete.
yeah, I just haven't heard from this, what's intriguing everybody is this particular sales quote has a lease option, which is just kind of their standard lease option for everybody. That would be for really some like A credits, and then there's us. And so, But I may have some other options. I may have some other financing options, so why don't, maybe I could suggest that we go ahead with the purchase, that we still have 30 days to figure out the financing. What you're approving right now is this purchase has to be done. Financing can kind of be pulled out and be separate.
You need the approval for the price.
I need the approval to purchase this. I'm working on some other options that we talked about regarding our AR financing. And if we can do something like that, it would be better to fold this into that money as opposed to do a lease, to your point, Dr. Head, that those do get very pricey and you're paying for them a couple times over.
And thanks to the fact that February is 28 days, our next board meeting will be in 28 days, 4 weeks from now.
So it would fall
So
within
we
that.
would do that parameter, not barely, but.
Yeah, so that's what
So the approval to get the ball rolling while you continue to work on
I'm
financing.
financing.
Okay.
The original.
And we didn't have a second.
James.
I withdraw it. So,
Okay, all right, so, the motion is, as Lisa stated, that we will approve this purchase, but with continued lease arrangements or other arrangements to be made. And it was seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. The second item that I have, and this kind of falls in that same vein of what we were just discussing, this is a term sheet, because this term sheet actually went to this Arboretum's credit committee today. And I have heard that we have got conditional approval on this, but I wanted to go ahead and bring this to see if we could get approval on this term sheet. This is for, as you recall, we have recently installed our second cath lab with Philips. And that equipment is $493,000. And that was originally gonna be, we had originally made arrangements for the long-term lease for that, and that lease got canceled this fall. And so now I need to try to find an alternative financing option for that. Again, this is one of those things where I believe, I am confident this is the best I can do for this right now. And so I am requesting that we go ahead, reserve our cash on this one for sure, and do this leasing for this Philips equipment.
I'll make a motion.
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Richard Wallace. Oh, there he is.
I'll change seats.
Yes.
First of all, I want to thank all the Boy Scouts for staying awake this long. I was once a Boy Scout, I don't think I've made it to this point. I did notice a couple of you doodling over there instead of paying attention, so pay attention. The next section that I'm reporting on is the service proposal, which is in section 5B1 of your handout, or your board books rather. And it's a service proposal to replace our current billing system that we're using at NMPG for our professional services, presented by Athena Health. And what we are proposing tonight is that we replace our current intermedics billing system with this particular one. The reason that we wanted to do that is, number one, we're not real satisfied or happy with the success that we've had over the last couple of years with intermedics, our billing company. Secondly, the rate that is being proposed here will save us about $100,000 a year if we have the same collections that we do right now. Thirdly, it's something that I think will interface better with our hospital system, and it's utilized by a lot of the physicians and providers in our service area right now. So just going through this very quickly, if you'll notice on the second page of the actual proposal, what you told us about your organization. Farrah, I wanted to let you know, you had a question about that line that says annual fee for service collections, $4 million. I went back and I looked at that and thought about it a little bit, and actually, it's a matter of punctuation. The way that should be read is annual fee for service collections. So the annual fee for service collections for the period of time that we were looking at was $4,724,000. And then based upon that is where some of these other numbers come from. So the 91,000, nearly 100,000 that I was just talking about is based upon the savings that we'll have by the reduction in our service fees from our current 8.95% to this proposed 7.02% if we collect that same $4,724,000 for the year. A couple other things that I wanted to point out. They originally had suggested and wanted a rate of 8.46%. We negotiated with them. Rhonda took the lead on negotiating it down to a 7.01%. So that's a significant savings. 7.02. Point, yeah, did I say I won? Okay.
We hit on one, we'll take on.
Yeah, I would say it's a little better. 7.02%. The other thing is they originally wanted us to have a minimum fee per month of $24,047, which we didn't like. We negotiated that down to $15,153. At that rate, at $15,153, that'll, even if we have the worst month that we had over the last 12 months, we would still be covered with that fee. It wouldn't hurt us. The onboarding service fees and scope, that where it gets into what they anticipate their efforts will be in order to get us up and converted. It's a period of about 16 to 18 weeks is what we're looking at, which is going to get us into, if we started March 1st, it's going to get us into July, which ties nicely with our current intermedics agreement. And we just want to make sure that intermedics will hang around until then, because we've proposed perhaps changing services a little bit earlier, but we'll go back to them and tell them that we want to keep them around until we get this other one up and running, once this one will be approved. The training and go live support, 52 person days is the amount of time that they would have people from their staff helping our folks at a cost of $1,500 a day. And then the on-site person days, that's separate number of 5, is really for the project management team to come in here and kind of set things up before they actually start doing the conversion. So, I would like to request that the board consider and approve this change in our agreement at this time.
I so moved. Second.
Are there any questions that anybody has? I do have one. On page 3 of 10, it says that Credit Card Plus will require the client to complete an Elevon merchant agreement credit application via Athena Health, and applicable Elevon fees for credit card transactions will apply. Do you have any idea what that fee is going to be?
No, we talked to them about that, and the Elevon is the merchant provider that they use for credit card activity, because it interfaces into the Athena software program. I expect it's not going to be very high. They didn't act as though it would be a significant dollar amount when we had the conversation with them last week. I think it's going to be in line with what you put their merchant fees for credit card services. So I don't really anticipate that being an issue.
We currently already pay those fees anyway.
Pardon me?
We would already pay those fees as is.
Right, we use a different company right now called Transfers for all of our credit card activity, so we're going to just replace one with another.
The thing is that coming from the credit card industry, you can pay anything from 1.5 to 5.6. And so that's why I wanted to know what the percentage was, since that is huge.
Right. That'll be a separate negotiation that we'll have with Elevon. It's not part of this particular agreement.
I just
We'll
didn't know
certainly-
if you knew it, because it just caught my eye.
Right.
Okay, we have a motion. Oh, any other questions? We have a motion on the floor to accept this purchase, and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Thank you very much. And Rhonda, you're up. Yes.
I know.
Do you have your Fitbit on?
I know. on there somewhere. But the first one is for for some EP equipment. This is a renewal of our current equipment that we have. It's $6,410 a month. It's a 12-month rental, and there's a 14-day cancellation agreement. So, again, I would request that the board let us go ahead and continue to keep this equipment on site and work really hard on increasing our EP volume.
Make a motion to approve.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the renewal of this current agreement, this with BioSense cartridge system rental agreement. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Thank you.
Great. The next one is for our 3M coding software agreement. And this contract would have auto-renewed on April 23rd. And so this is, we're currently using this system. It's $85,000 a year, and we pay them quarterly, I believe, is what we pay 3M. And so they work with us on our payments, so it's not a big cash outlay right away. And they have been very good, and it's a good product, and I'd like to continue this for our business office.
Rhonda, you said that in the finance meeting that you would firm up any extra discount rates. Were you able to do that, or are you still working on it?
Well, we're still working on it. Right now, it's to $85,000, and we could commit to longer terms, and we haven't. And do you have any thoughts?
Well, I mean, the more years that you take on, the cheaper it is by quite a bit if you do a 5-year contract versus just renewing it for the 1 year.
So it is significantly less, and I'm assuming.
So the 3-year discounted annual fee would be $67.7 instead of $85.3. Are there any comments?
Well, the question I had during the finance committee meeting was, underneath it says 3-year discount annual fee, first year that. So my question was, is that the discount for the first year, and then the next 2 years could be what? And that, so, as far as.
Yeah, where are they, is that a hook and then they?
In the next 2 years, $250,000 each?
Yeah.
Let me go back and, I can go back and confirm that. I was thinking that it would come in at 85. 85 is what we're paying this year. So,
And that's what it has as a list price, and then the 3-year discounted price, annual fee would be 67 for the 3, 64 for the 5. But again, there's a stipulation of in the parentheses, it's the first year.
Yeah, so what you're asking is in the second and third years, then would it go back to
The 85,000.
first year
Or
price?
less, or.
And where we end up, basically.
right.
I think that's what it does, because I think we had a 5-year contract that did that.
Okay.
It dropped
We
the
have-
first year, because I do think it was a 5-year contract, dropped the first year, and then we're at 85,000 is kind of where I think.
Okay, so we would only save that amount the first year.
Yeah, because we were at 85,000 this year.
If that's the case, then I would recommend the 3 and not the 5, because the 5 is
Just go ahead and use
3,000
it.
less,
That's.
and you can renew it again 3 year, and at the same amount of time.
Problem is we would need some kind of out. It would seem to be on 2 years. Yeah, what happens if we get a partner in and they don't use the software, and then we're committed in year 2 and 3 at 85? I guess that's the partner's problem. We would have to negotiate with 3 to get a good amount.
Well, what do you think? We don't have to have this until April 23rd, 2019.
We're gonna bring it back, you're gonna do a little bit more research on the pricing, to see what.
I'd like to know a little more about
I
that.
could- I'm a pretty good negotiator, boys.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do.
Sure. Okay, and since we have time, do we want to table this? Is there a motion? Okay, James?
Sure.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, Brian seconded it. We are going to table this.
Perfect.
We will come back with more information. Thank you
Okay,
very
thank
much.
you.
Okay, now we are up to administrative policies and procedures. Christine?
Well, I hope you've had a chance to read all these lovely policies that
cleaning ice machines and cleaning lines and all that sort of thing. So if you've had a chance to review, we just need a formal approval process. They've gone all through the hospital committees and we just need a formal stamp of approval.
Okay, so what we will do is put all 11 items together. So number 4001, utility management plan. Oh, I don't, oh, at 4, there we go. Oh, I'm sorry. This, I had a different one. 1001, life safety management plan. 1001, and the hazardous materials and waste management plan. 1002, 4001, 4052, 4060, 4066, 5001, 5002, and number 3.4, utilization review plan, and number 3.5, discharge plan. Do I have a motion to approve those?
I would like to make a comment real quick. Can we have both of those first two named 1001?
They're from different things.
Oh, different things.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Make a
why I
motion-
read
Then I
that.
make a
yes.
motion to approve all 11 measures.
Yeah, I got that too.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and second to approve all of those administrative policies and procedures. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. And you have your approval. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Is it okay to just go on? to the
Yes, you're
CMO
next
update?
anyway, so
Okay.
we're not gonna make you walk back to your seat.
Observe decorum. Stand back.
So, okay, so joint commission has been here a lot. Just kind of to recap, in June, November, they came for the lab survey, which was a full survey, 3 days. We did very well on that. Action plan submitted, accepted. That was that. In December, they came around Christmas time and did a full hospital survey, 3 days. The way joint commission works is they have different tiers of findings. The first most significant severe are called IJs. We did not get any of those, hallelujah. The second tier is conditional level findings. Those are things that need to be fixed and you need to do it timely. We did get several of those. And then the third level is standard level findings, which we did receive those as well. So the conditional level findings, we had certain time frames of which to get those done. We did get clear from the last one on February 15th. They were here 2 weeks ago now and looked at our suicidal patients in the emergency room and we're providing, we changed the policy, we put sitters in place, one-on-one constant observation. So we did get clear from that. So we are good for that. We are expecting that they come back in the spring to evaluate for the whole, the regular findings, the standard level findings. So we're still actively working on things and making sure that what we've told Joint Commission is what we're doing, and we need to be diligent on that. Outpatient physical therapy. So we had several, providers recommending physical therapy for patients in the community, and our outpatient list got kind of high. So what we did is we looked at the financials. Does it make sense to hire, a PTA or PT from an agency to make this list improve our outpatient volumes? And so we have done that, and we had a physical therapist, Jean, who retired after 46 years or something like that, and then another physical therapist who moved to Houston. So with those shortages and with, trying to recruit, PTs are kind of costly, so we were able to get a PT assistant, and he is supposed to start next week. So that waiting list is gonna be cut down, and we're excited about that. The other good news is we have just been approved for the Silver Sneakers location. We're going to be a site. There's more information to come within 2 weeks. They're gonna send me some information on that. And for those of you who don't know about our cardiac rehab program, we have a wonderful program. So we anticipate that that's gonna bring a lot of people to our community, from our community to our hospital. And now we're just gonna worry about space if we run out of space. But that's a good problem. And a bigger coffee pot. And they have a lot of fun, especially on Fridays, with some good music. So, any questions for me?
Okay, sounds perfect. Thank you very much. And now we have CEO report and board calendar. Each of your have a microphone right there, so you're good. Unless you-
Stand up. Okay, well, since February 4th, my first day at the Nacogdoches Medical Center, I wanted to update the board and community.
Excuse me, Gary. Where are you working here?
Oh. That was full disclosure. Both of these. And now that I'm here at Nacogdoches Memorial. All right, so I've been impressed with the commitment of the hospital employees and the medical staff, the governing board members. It starts with people. You can make or break a hospital. Quality will be our #1 priority. Our overriding focus will be quality care and patient safety. As far as the facilities are concerned, my initial impression, there's a full spectrum ranging from needing attention to some very impressive state-of-the-art facilities. Unfortunately, we're in a situation to survive. We must be financially solvent to get there. We must partner with another entity. As previously mentioned, to survive in today's health environment, you cannot be a standalone facility. I believe the board's decision to seek out a partner is critical and a wise choice. The decision in progress by the governing board to start the process of finding a partner for Memorial Hospital and electing Juniper Advisory Group is right on track. Also, the efforts by our Texas House Representative Travis Clardy to leverage his legislative clout and contacts within the state with the numerous healthcare systems and university affiliations is appreciated and will enhance our efforts as we move forward with Juniper to find the right fit. For the past 3 weeks, I've been working with the senior management staff and department directors. I've been focused on operations and implementing one-on-one meetings. I've met with board members, key physicians, and I've been assisting the governing board in moving this partnership efforts forward. The following is a summary of the efforts to date. We started on the 6th with a meet and greet with the staff. I've had one-on-one meetings with all 7 board members. I've have a weekly standing meeting with the board chair. I have 6 senior management people. For the Scouts, that includes a chief financial officer, which you've heard Rhonda talk about. Christine is the chief nurse officer. Dr. Ed Farron is the chief medical officer. Noella Creighton is the chief compliance officer. Richard Wallace, that spoke earlier, with the Memorial Physicians Group administrator. And Ashley Ortega, the human resource director. And I'd like Ashley to stand up because this is her second week.
Yes, hello everybody. I'm Ashley Ortega. I've been here for a week and 2 days and hit the ground running. I've got about 15 years in human resources, 5 of which were previously in senior leadership for hospital systems. I have a bachelor's in business and PHR certification and SHRM CP certification as well. So I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be and glad to be a part of the team.
I'd like to welcome Ashley. In addition, I also have 6 direct reports with department directors. Those include support services, the foundation, dietary, community relations, pharmacy, medical staff services. I have met with all those, and moving on to the medical staff leadership, Jeremy Smith, the chief of staff, met with him. Dr. Farron, we have a standing weekly meeting to meet with. I'll be scheduling the 4 chiefs of services: medicine, surgery, women's, children's, and it's 3. Is that 4? Women's and children's. Working with the physician liaison, Katie Crawford, on focusing on our independent doctors, which I think is extremely important. The goal is to have all the department directors in the entire hospital to complete those one-on-ones by the end of March. So a lot of meetings. I've instituted a safety huddle, which we meet in this room every morning at 9 o'clock, Monday to Friday. And that has all the hospital directors and the senior management. So just kind of go around the room and update so that everyone kind of knows what's going on, what the volumes are, what we need to do as far as case management and moving patients through the hospital. I think that's provided a very productive meeting. On compliance matters, you heard Noella, the chief compliance officer. She provided a review of the 3rd year of our 5-year corporate integrity arrangement. Met and toured word with Juniper, which was the advisor group I alluded to. They have a list of potential suitors. It's close to 30. These are national companies. They know them because that's what they do as far as business-wise. I was very impressed with their knowledge. And they've already talked to some of these people just to feel kind of what's going on. It includes mainly nonprofit, but there's for-profit in there too. And I think we want to leave all options open with whatever partner that is. They indicated that there will be probably what we call a dark period. You're not going to hear much about them for about the next 4 to 5 months as they meet with all these people. And the end result will be to get hopefully 3, 5, but limit it down to a single digit, probably certainly no more than 5. They will then bring these people on site. They will look at the hospital, we'll give them tours, they'll meet the staff, kind of find the right match what's going on. Overall, Juniper was quite pleased with the state-of-the-art facilities that I mentioned, but that certainly includes the emergency department, the cath labs, intensive care unit, intermediate intensive care unit, and women's services. A hospital rounding program is being developed for all departments on a weekly basis, so that I will be rounding on those both in the day and then on the evening shift. Sometimes we tend to forget those people at nighttime, and we wouldn't operate. I mean, we're 24/7, so definitely need to round and get visible in those areas. We did receive confirmation that both the hospital pharmacy and the clinics are back in the 340B program, so that's great news. And finalized with the Board of Directors retreat and a workshop with the Texas Health Trustees. It will be held March 4th and 5th. It's presented by Shirley Robinson. It's a 6-hour workshop for the full board and the executive leadership team. Finally, I look forward to dedicating more time to forming stronger relationships with our physicians, our employees, and government board members, stabilizing and moving Nacogdoches Memorial Hospital into the future. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
I have a question on the calendar. Do we mind, would y'all mind if we move the executive committee meeting on the 21st from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.?
You can do anytime you want, I'm not gonna be attending, so that's pretty great. So whatever time,
That's fortunate.
On that line, can we move strategic as well to Thursday, same week? You okay with it?
What time?
2 p.m. is fine.
2 p.m.
Okay. Any other questions about the calendar? Well, since we do not have any executive sessions, I don't think. Terry?
I don't have anything.
I don't think any. Okay. Somebody's waiting to make the motion to adjourn?
Moving to second.